Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another anime review, and for this anime review I'll be covering Season 1 of Free Iwatabi Swim Club. And of course after this is completed I'll have another video coming out covering Season 2. So let's get started on Season 1. First of all, I'll cover the synopsis of each of the episodes and also talk about the episodes as well. So, in this first season, there are 12 episodes, and of course there's 2 promotional videos, but we won't need to cover the promotional videos in regards to this. So, moving into episode 1, it's called Reunion at the Starting Block, to which the synopsis gives us, after spending the first year of high school in peace and quiet, Haruka and Makoto run into Nagisa. Now, in this first episode of the series, we end up meeting a very carefree, spirited person by the name of Nagisa. And we learn that these 3 characters used to attend a swim club, which was called the Iwatabi Swim Club, and also used to basically perform together in some events. Until, of course, Nagisa wants to, relive those moments that they enjoyed, and through reliving those moments that they enjoyed when they were younger, so basically in elementary school, moving into high school where they are now, he wants to sort of give their best effort with the team. Jumping into episode 2, which is Memories in the Distance, to which we end up catching up with another person connected with these swimmers and their past. And for the synopsis, it says Makoto and Nagisa, with their breaths held as Haruka and Rin engage in an intense race. Now, with this, we end up having a bit of a reunion of who was sort of their original 4th character who performed in their relay race, being known as Rin. And one of the people that sort of start to work in their club is actually the sister of Rin, who is basically at the main school that they are at. So as events sort of take place in this particular episode, eventually leads them to having Haru and Rin end up having a bit of a race at the school to which Rin is now at, because when he returned from his trip to Australia, he decided to go back to a different school instead of going to a main school to which his previous friends were at, or maybe not even know where they were actually at. So as we begin to jump into episode 3, it's called The Theoretical Dolphin Kick, to which in this particular episode we have the character of Nagisa. Like I brought up before, Nagisa is very carefree and very open and very outgoing in his particular character. And we learn quite a bit about his character as to with him trying to begin to get the swim club up again. They now learn that they need another person to participate in the swimming contests, and this is where Nagisa is very persistent when he comes across a runner. Oh no, not a runner. An athlete that participates in pole vaulting, and he asks if he wants to actually join the swim club, and he gets very persistent, and he really shows his passion and his love for swimming whilst he's trying to win this particular person over. And we learn the person's name is called Ray, and he does eventually end up joining the swim club, which is really quite interesting. And one of the things that sort of like captures his attention is to be able to swim like Haru or Haruka in the storyline, because you see how well that he loves and enjoys his own passion for swimming. But now he wants to start to work on that. Moving into episode 4, it is called Captive Butterfly, to which this is the episode to which Ray begins to sort of like finds his feet a bit in regards to the particular story in this season. And for the synopsis, it says the Iwatabi Swim Club has a full roster now. As they begin to practice, they run into a little bit of trouble, to which in this we see the characters trying to help Ray out and also to basically find his swimming form that he is, I guess, strongest with. And in the process, we learn that his strongest swim form is actually the butterfly. As we start to jump into episode 5, it's called Trial in Open Water, as Haruka and the other club members decide to hold a camping trip to prepare for the prefectural event, to which will lead them either winning their place to maybe work in going into the nationals, and maybe, if possible, they might pick up a scholarship. So in this particular episode, we do get to see the main characters who do stand out in the series for this particular club, being Rei, Nagisa, Makoto, and Haru. And whilst they're at this camping trip, they do eventually learn that not very far away to where they're camping, there is actually a swimming pool, to which has one of the main relay team's best friends, being Rin. And not long after that, they do also end up going to a bit of a place, to which the people who are holding it there for them end up having a, I guess, they got like a little house and apartment, to which they are able to stay whilst the others are on the beach. So whilst they're on the beach, they're also getting some practice in with their swimming. As night starts to come across them, now this sort of moves into, or this will also move into the next episode, to which one of the members, being Ray, decides to go on a late night swimming, and of course not a very wise idea. And it's not long after that we move into the next episode. So moving into the next episode, being episode 6, being Shocking No Breathing, there's trouble at the beach, and the 4 swim club members are forced to revisit their motivation as to sort of like how they actually got into swimming, who played an important role for them to sort of like get into the sport of swimming, and also who played an important part to help them start to get a little bit more involved, even as working together, to which we will see later on when I move on to season 2 that one of the characters actually gets a lot of love and respect. So jumping into episode 7, we have the one-style final. As the prefecture draws near, Haruka and the other swim club members continue to improve, so like working on their swimming abilities, so that when they are able to sort of like do their main styles, with Haru, his main style is freestyle, one's main style is backstroke, the other one's main style is butterfly, and what's the other one? Breaststroke by Nagisa. So as we start to move further into the prefecturals, we move into episode 8, which is called Revenge in the Medley. And now this is basically the work up to the relay race, to which they are all meant to participate in, but there is something that will happen, but I'll wait until I get towards that episode to share that little spoiler at the end. So in this, we have the main characters performing in their individual events, and we get to see how well not only Rin does, Rei does, Nagisa, and who sort of like gets first, second, whoever else in that particular race, until we move into the next episode. So as we start to jump into episode 9, it's called Hesitant Loosen Up. So with this, some of the club members are a little bit tense before the big race, to which, like, after many of their individual races have taken place, it then starts to move a little bit closer to their medley or relay race, to which they have to participate in. And I forgot to cover the synopsis, to which the prefecturals are over and the Iwatabi Swim Club members are pleased that they have progressed and gotten further in their particular events or styles that they swim in. Jumping into episode 10, the irritated heart rate, to which we end up catching up with a bit of an older member, or a member who plays a big part in this swim club story, and that is Coach Sasabi begins training the Iwatabi Swim Club for the upcoming tournament. Meanwhile, we have some other events occurring in regards to, I think it's Haru's character, and also what he actually wants to do. In other words, pointing towards one of the things that he wants to achieve a goal in, and that is to swim as a team. We will eventually see that, but not how you expect to see it. Moving into episode 11, which is called Furious All Out. After hearing about what happened in the past, Rei goes into Semazuka Academy to ask Rin in regards to what happened between himself and Haru. So he wants to learn a little bit more about what sort of caused a little bit of distance between them, and to not, I guess, not talk as much. But whilst they do talk, it's very left on, some of the things are left on the shelf to be brought up at a later date. That's the only way I could probably best describe it. Now, jumping into last but not least, we come into episode 12, which is called Distant Free, to which the Iwatabi Swim Club must win to advance to the Nationals as the tournament draws near. Now, in this particular episode, we get a bit of unexpected events occur, and with these unexpected events to occur, we have the character of Rei, who ends up sitting on the sidelines, and we get a bit of a reunion with basically the four that make up the original relay team from the beginning of the story. And the original relay team that we do learn in the past consisted of Nagisa, Haru, who's sort of like the main, or one of the mains in this story. We also have Makoto, and last but not least, Rin. Now, we do learn that, like, after the stunt that is pulled, they are disqualified and unable to sort of like move into the next final, or the next lot of events. and unable to participate in the Nationals. But that's all fine, because by the time we move into the next season, there is a big change, and we also get to meet some new characters along the way. Now, I must admit, moving into the afterthoughts of this, I really enjoyed getting to know the characters. Whether we start, of course, we meet Haru going through the main school that he goes to, and we eventually meet up with Makoto, and we learn that these two go to the main school as well. After that, we end up being introduced to Nagisa, who does in fact come off as very carefree, but I'll have a lot more to say about Nagisa when I address the next season, because there's something that happens in next season that I just did not expect at all, and it just caught me by surprise. If anything, it was a subversion of my own expectations, and it was way better than Ryan Johnson trying to subvert it. So, for the main characters, I think if I were to put down the main characters would have to be actually 5 characters in this. To which would be Haru, the first one we meet, Makoto. Then we have Nagisa, because these are the members that make up the relay team. Not only the original relay team, but also the new to-be relay team that's going to appear in the next season. And we, of course, have Ray, who begins to make the new relay team. But we also do catch up with the character of Rin. I really enjoyed learning about these characters, and for moving into the rating of them, I'm going to give a straight 8 out of 10. Now, moving into the supporting characters, we have like the coach. We also have Rin's sister, who plays a part. There are some unnamed supporting characters that I did not mention during this review. One character being Notori, spelled Nitori, and he's actually a character that reminds me a lot like Nagisa, but he too has his own goals and expectations. So for the supporting characters, I give a 7.5 out of 10, because of even in their performance, I really quite enjoyed. Next is the area of the soundtrack, to which the soundtrack was absolutely consistent throughout the story, and it also worked really well with each of the scenes to which we got to learn more about the characters, but not only learn more about the characters, but also see how it played out in the events. For that, I give an 8 out of 10. Moving into the next thing being the animation, I think the animation for this story's time is actually quite good. In some cases, probably a little bit underrated. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Moving into the next and last area, and that is the main area of the story, to which I give it an 8.5 out of 10. If you happen to have seen this series, happen to have seen this season and enjoyed it, what was your favorite episode in the season, and who is your favorite character that stands out to you the most? Well, until then, let's keep it colorful and have yourself an awesome day.